Hello, and welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to do another board game unboxing of an out-of-print game by Flying Frog Productions, same company that does Shadows of Brimstone, Touch of Evil, Conquest Planet Earth, Last Night on Earth, among others, all of which we have or are soon to be shipped to us through Flying Frog Productions. But anyway, this is Fortune and Glory. This is an oldie but goodie. Again, out of print. We got ours on eBay. We paid a premium for it. I'd say probably about double the original price of the game. It's like new. It's never been played. It's basically the only thing missing is the shrink wrap. But it was all the insides are brand new, never been played. Stuff still in plastic, cards never even opened, as you can see, but nothing punched. So about as like new as you can get. I mean, as new as you can get without actually being shrink wrapped. But anyway, again, we got this on eBay for a good price. There's only a couple listings on eBay. I haven't checked recently, but I'm sure there's probably not more than a couple right now, and I'm sure it's 200 plus. And if you want to get it shrink wrapped, you're probably going to pay closer to $250, $300 for it. We didn't pay quite that much, but we did pay more than we usually pay for a board game. But it's definitely a game we wanted to have, as all the expansions and the card packs were readily available for us to purchase, which we are going to be doing unboxings of. Which I think we have just about everything for it, including some fan made, well, I don't know about villains, but fan made heroes, I think, and fan made cards, danger cards, as you'll see, and other stuff. But anyway, it's definitely a game we've been wanting to open up for a while. We've had it for a while sitting here. We've got a backlog, actually, of games. As you can see, that stack that's above here, that stack right there is all games that we haven't had open, as well as a few there. You can see some of them. See some, not the white boxes there, but all those other games there. So we definitely have a little backlog of games to open. But anyway, I'm finally getting around to this one and watching a bunch of videos on it. So without further ado, let's open this one up. Show you what's inside. But definitely a big box. Heavy, heavy, heavy box. So there it is. And it does have a little wear on the, I forget where it is. One of the corners here was broken, but that's not because of use. That's just because this sheer box is just heavy. So it's been sitting around, probably opened, but definitely not played. So it's as new as you can get without being new. Anyway, let's check out the game board on top. Nice, huge game board here. Brightly colored trifold. As you can see, nice detailed map of the United States with little zones in there. And there it is, pretty much. So that's it. That's the map of the world there. So decent, nice artwork on it. All right, so we'll just lay this down and show you everything else inside. Voila, there you go. All right, let's start with the rule book as usual. So definitely, I know this has been updated since I think it originally came out in 2011. And I know they're planning, well, at least I've heard through the grapevine that they're planning through Doug Herring on YouTube, among a couple others, that there is, through the rumor mill, a 10th anniversary edition like they did for A Touch of Evil and Last Night on Earth. So I know that the Touch of Evil reprint came out, I think ended up being 12 years after the game was out. So this is 2011, so definitely I'm hoping by 2023, which is less than 2 years away. Well, if it's depending upon when it comes out into 2023, I'm hoping that to do a reprint of this, but I figured I'd stop letting this sit around and get it to the board and play it for a couple of years before the 10th anniversary edition comes out, because I'm sure I'm going to want to get that when it does come out. But anyway, this rule book here, I know it's been updated many times on, I'm not sure what edition this is, if this is still the original edition of the rulebook or if it's updated. I think it's probably the original, close to the original. But anyway, it's a game for 1 to 8 players, ages 12 and up. Again, it's a dice chucking, good fun game like most Flying Frog games are. Definitely not games that I used to play, because I play a lot of Euros and like games where there's I mean, there's always going to be some luck in a game, but usually my group likes little to no luck in the games. You know, maybe a little bit of luck, but not much. In fact, most of my gaming group probably wouldn't play this one, although I'm sure I could get them to try it anyway, at least once. But anyway, I found out that I like games like this through Shadows of Brimstone, and I'm sure this one I will like it just as well. Anyway, so let's check it out here. See a bunch of heroes in here. It comes with 8 heroes and 2 villain groups. It comes with the mob and the Nazis. And through the expansions, it has the Crimson Hand. So, nice if they came out with another villain pack. I know they have 2 expansions that have been in the works for a few years now because of COVID and other reasons. And probably more focusing on Shadows of Brimstone, they have not come out yet. But as you'll see in this game, that they do a lot of photography, a lot of actors and stuff that they take pictures of in costume, which I think I like a lot. Some people don't like it. I like it, though. I think it's kind of cool. A little cheesy, but kind of cool nonetheless. Anyway, this is the game components and everything in here. Forward by Jason C. Hill, the designer. And then all the stuff that comes inside of it. Description of all the card types. And your hero cards. Game board. What's on the game board. So here's the Fortune here, which is going to be gold. And the Glory, which is blue. Making skill tests and everything. Agility tests. Strength tests. Combat tests. All kinds of different tests. And then the artifacts, which is kind of cool. Which is going to be put together. You know, it comes 2 cards put together here, as you can see, to make all kinds of interesting, cool names. But definitely Indiana Jones, which I like. And the move phase, adventure phase, the end phase, and then the villain phase. So these are looks like for the Nazis. And how to do the fights. Collecting glory. Enemy henchman stuff. Deep jungle. So, temples. There's temples in this too, which is kind of cool. Near the villains here. So here's the mob. And then the Nazis. And then the cooperative game, which I'm probably playing mostly cooperative. Solo game, but cooperative, using 1 or more characters. Probably between 1 and 4 characters at the most. I'll probably initially try it with just the 1 character, but then eventually move on to more. Voila. And the villain phase here. How that breaks down. And then facts and the hero profiles. There are a number of good replays. Again, Doug Herring, Paul Darcy, Board Game TV, I think did a whole bunch of these, and as well as a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are plenty of other playthroughs on the internet. I think One Stop Co-op Shop did some too. So there's a nice back page, show a quick reference guide, what all the icons do, and everything else. So there you go. All right, now let's get to the quick start rules here. So this is a nice 4-page thing. So little miniatures. So basically a quick way to get into the adventure. Basically a quick breakdown of the game. So the 4 phases of the game round is initiative phase, move phase, adventure phase, and end phase, which involves the villains. And that's it right there. All right, so enough of that text. So you have your soundtrack here, which has, looks like 11 different sounds on here. I mean, songs. well, not really songs, but sounds, special effects and stuff. And still in shrink. Like I said, everything is going to be in shrink here until now. So here are the minis right here. These are all the villain minis. All right, so again, nice high quality board game minis, not like, you know, tabletop minis, but high quality board game minis, as I think it was Doug Herring that mentioned it. But nice detail. So it looks like these are some of the Nazi ones. This is one of the Nazi commanders. And I think these are going to be all Nazis probably, yep. And then another one. And another one right here. Oh, that's because like one of the mob villains. Another mob one right here. And another mob one. So it looks like there's 3 mob ones. And 3 Nazi ones. And then you have your Zeppelin here, of course. Not the Hindenburg, of course, but so that's offers a very cool mini here with a nice mechanic. So more like rubbery plastic kind of thing, I guess you could say. A little bit. They bend a little bit, so a little bit of rubbery type things. But they look nice on the board and everything. All right, so there's that. So these are all the bosses. Along with your Zeppelin. And then you have your various other minis. So you have your little temples. Nice cool pieces. So some of the artifacts are temples you have to go into. Temples you collect a little differently. Like the fortune. And then, so here are some mobsters. And I think this is mostly going to be all mobsters here. Mobsters and temples, I think. And I think, oh, you have some Nazi soldiers here. There's a Nazi soldier. And some more mob villains. And so it's like all the Nazi soldiers are the same pose. And then your mob villains are all going to be the same pose, I think. Yeah, it looks like that. Would have been nice if some other different poses, but that's okay. But nice, chunky, decent miniatures that you don't have to assemble like in Shadows of Brimstone. All right. All right, so here you have your, looks like your fortune here. I'm wanting to see what these feel like. Yeah. So kind of like plasticky, more plasticky than, but a little rubbery, plasticky, rubbery, more plasticky. So these are the big 5-piece fortunes. And then you have your little 1-piece fortune, which are kind of cool. Nice big bag of these. And then you have your glory. For some reason they chose to do purple. I mean, blue. So again, you have your little 5-piece fortune. And then your little, even smaller, 1-piece fortune. So plenty of this stuff. But nice tactile feel though, nonetheless. A nice big bag of that. All right, and then you have your hero miniatures here. Which should be, I think, 8 of them. If I remember right. Yep. Let's see if I can kind of line these up with the heroes. So these are nice, chunky hero cards here, similar to Touch of Evil and yeah, Touch of Evil and Last Night on Earth, but nice thick. So here's the backs of them right here, and then the fronts here. So they're going to have basically 4 stats, well, 4 abilities here: combat, agility, cunning, and lore. And they have wounds, and then they have their special abilities here and their keywords over here. Okay, so let's see if I can find out which one she is. So she's the race car driver. So let's see if I can find out which one she is. So she's going to have a hat on, I think. I think this might be her. It's got a hat. Could be wrong on that one, but I think that might be her. And Jake Zane, he's the pilot. Gonna have suspenders on. Let's see if I can find him. That's definitely not him. I think I found Duke Dudley. Let's see. That might be him. It's either gonna be that one or I don't think it's that one. So I think it's this one. Yeah, I think that might be Jake Zane, possibly. Not 100% sure on that, but it kind of looks like him. So this is him with his hero card. Sorry for the dimness in here. Not the greatest lighting in here, but so his combat's agility, cunning, and lore, and his keywords, and all the different abilities he has. And this city is basically where they start out. It's like he starts out in San Francisco. Shelley starts out in Paris. So Mi Chen, Li Chen, with her stats there, her abilities. And I think this is, no, it's not her. I want to say that's her. I don't know, that could be her. That could be her. I'm not really sure. Kind of guessing at this. Yeah, that's got to be her. Pretty sure that's her. Either that's her or this one is her, but I think it's the other one. We're going to go with this one. All right, and then you have your, I know which one Duke Dudley is. This one's obviously him, the Englishman. So Duke Dudley right here. Oops. So male, British social. And that's him right there. Pretty sure that's him. Okay. And then Jacques Moreau. Right here. And this one, his is pretty easy to spot out, the bald guy, which is this guy. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see the detail in it, but it's nice. And that's his stats right there, and abilities. And keywords and all that good stuff. And then Dr. Zukov, which is, kind of want to play him. He looks interesting. He's the master of science. So kind of like the mad scientist. He starts in Moscow. And I think that's him right there. Kind of looks like he's holding up a potion of some sort or something. Kind of not the best mini for him, but it'll work. But I guess he's got goggles on. Yeah, I guess it does look like him. Again, kind of hard to see in the lighting, sorry. But there are his stats and everything. Again, these are shiny, so it's gonna reflect some of the light. And then we got a couple more here. Yeah, this one's definitely Thomas Cartwright here. This is Thomas Cartwright. He is the reclusive novelist. With his stats, keywords. So he's male, drifter, and strange. Yeah, that kind of looks like him. I guess he's got some kind of jug around him. Some kind of water jug or something. And then finally, last but not least, oh, she got kind of bent here a little bit. She bends back, though, easily. There's Sharon Hunter, the photographer, the daring photographer. She's female American socialist. She starts out in New York. There you go. And that's her. She's a little bent backward, but I'm sure that'll straighten out. All right, so there they are. Cool. And then here, to show you the rest of the placard type things, here are the mob. Basically, special rules that they follow. Intimidation, extortion, hideouts, and mob headquarters, mobster thugs. And there they are. They're one of the vile organizations. And then they have a tactics card, so you're going to roll this sometimes on some of the cards. The cards tell you to. And then you have the Nazis got 3 things. So the Nazis got their special rules thing. There you go. And your tactics card, just like the mobs have one. And they have one additional thing. They have the Zeppelin, which will move around and drop off enemies too. They have special rules for that. And there you go, the War Zeppelin. This is probably a more difficult version of the Zeppelin. So there you go. And now, the heart of the game, the tokens and the cards. Well, I'll show you the die first. The die here, you have your green and white. Green usually for the enemy and white for the heroes. You can do them whichever way you want, I guess, though. So there you are. I think there's 8 of each. Just enough to get you started. And then you have your Flying Frog First Player token, your Nazi stuff here. And these you're going to put on the artifacts, 1 on the artifact and 1 on the board where it is. You can draw a location for the board. And then your little swastika stuff for other things. And the mob things on the opposite side, so the mob side on the back of it. And then some of the collapsed tokens. Collapsed tokens are going to be for the temples, because sometimes you're going to have to roll for them to collapse. Looks like sometimes you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 artifacts there. Okay. And then you have your the danger things, successes on the dangers. You're going to put this one, you overcome your agility, like your rolls there. And then once you complete your successes, you're going to put these, saying that you passed the dangers. And then you have your little hero. Looks like these are different allies probably you can meet along the way. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. I think these are allies you can hire. And then some of them are over here, and then some of them were the villains. These are the... so the Nazi ones are Teresa, Teufel, and Stahl. And then your mobster villains, Vanessa Love, Franco, and Icebox Eddie. And then, yeah, these are just people you can hire. Hey, and there's a dog in here, Baxter. I don't remember him yet, but... And then, of course, here, if you're familiar with Flying Frog games, especially Shadows of Brimstone, you get your wound markers here. And then, of course, your villain track here, which if they reach a certain amount before you do, before you get all your glory, then they win. I mean, all your fortune, sorry. So there's your track there, as you're familiar with in Flying Frog games. Voila, villain track. Again, decent thickness. And finally, last but not least, you got your cards. So these are all the enemy cards here, but let's open up this. Hopefully I can without my scissors. Didn't bring my scissors with me here. We'll use other techniques to open up the cards, but it's one thing I really like about Flying Frog games is that the cards are, you don't really even have to sleeve them. They're just so coated. They're coated and high quality, so which is cool. So here we go. It's a nice thick amount of cards here. Now listen to this. Crunchiness. So these will stick together at first. I love that sound. Crunchy cards. And let's see what we got here. So it looks like these ones on the bottom with the Nazi symbol. These are the enemy cards. So one of the decks is Nazi enemies. So I'll just show you these. These are typical Nazi soldiers. You're going to fight very similarly by rolling dice, many dice. Nazi gold. And one of the Nazi commander cards. They're definitely nice, high quality cards. But we probably still will sleeve these anyway. Guards, another type of enemy. Nazi patrol. Elite Nazi soldiers. Guard dogs. And then flamethrower teams, they're especially vicious. So glory is the currency in the game, basically what you're going to get for defeating them. And defeating dangers and stuff like that. All kinds of stuff, which you can spend on allies, on gear, on all kinds of other stuff, as you'll see. So soldiers again. All right, here we go. And then you have some other enemies, probably the mobster thugs. Yep, enemies. Oh, just love the brand new cards. This is awesome. All right, so the enemies deck, which I think is just the regular mobster enemies. So thugs, these are just regular enemies. And then you have your Order of the Crimson Hand, which there is an expansion pack for that, which you'll see eventually. We'll do an unboxing of that eventually. But definitely they're in like, I know, a Touch of Evil also. And I'm pretty sure... I'm not sure if they're in Shadows of Brimstone yet. I think they might be. But if not, I'm sure they will be. Mobsters. These are your standard mobsters. For the mobster enemy. And you have your pygmies. Interesting enemy. I think I've seen these yet. Zombies. Of course, you have to have zombies in it. Natives. We're upset that you're in their territory. Deadly snakes. These can be very vicious. I've seen these on a couple of them. And then your mob leader, which is telling you to draw a mob leader card. And more thugs. All right. Now here are your location cards. Oh, no, these are city cards. So when you go into cities, you got to draw city cards. Oh, more zombies. Got some more zombies here. And here are your villain cards here. So here are the villains that I described before. Colonel Stahl and the Nazi guys. So they have search die and combat, which you'll roll for various things. So they'll be going after the artifacts too. Teresa, but you'll be fighting them occasionally also. And then her Tufel. And then finally here's Icebox Eddie, the Mobwise. Vanessa Love. And then Francesco Fedici. There. All right, and then for this pack, these are all city cards. So these are just things you can do in a city. So you can heal when you're in a city. And then I know there's expansions that they added to this where you have to roll, you're in a major city. If you roll this, you have to roll on an event chart for cities if you come across just another day in the city or some other thing. So they allow you to heal. So these are kind of the good things in the regular game. And then Trouble in Town, you can also get into different predicaments here. And then here's a downtown car chase. Now, normally they have like the dangers you got to pass on one card and the cliffhangers on the back. But in the city cards, they have here, you have to pass these. And if you don't pass these, one of these, then you have to do the cliffhanger all in the next turn. So these are all kind of on one card. But these are just downtown car chase, a couple of those. And then this one is a good one. Allows you to draw a gear card. Pick up a contact. So this one allows you to draw an ally card. So these are good ones. And then an auction. And then rooftop chase, some more dangers. So there are dangers in cities too, which you got to watch out for. Immediately lose D3 fortune or one gear. So these are bad ones too. and they stick together a little bit. Bad press. That's a bad one. Robbed. So there are a lot of bad ones too. It's a fake. This is what you don't want to get. So you can play this game both competitively and cooperatively. So we'll be playing mostly cooperatively, at least at first, probably. Secret weapons, chance of success, stolen thunder, and then secret delivery. These might be some good things. Yeah, I get secret deliveries you can deliver. And then a lot of these to different cities. And that's it. So there you go. So a bunch of city cards. And again, these decks are expanded through expansions and all kinds of stuff. So definitely a ton of cards in this game, which I really like. So lots of replayability. All right. So we have four decks here. So this is deck number 2. We can get it open. All right. So we'll do our crunchy again. Oh, love that. And then we'll cut them in half and do it again. No other game that I've got that you can do stuff like that with. That's awesome. So, all right, let's see what we have here. So it looks like, okay, these get to show you some of the, so these are two-sided. So you have your regular dangers right here, and then on the backs of each card, you have your cliffhangers if you don't pass your regular test. So basically you draw from the bottom of the deck so you don't see what's coming up, but you know, so there's your danger right here, and then here is your cliffhanger. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just go through a couple of them to show you some of the pictures. So here's a card chase, and then, because we probably eventually will do a playthrough on the channel when we start doing playthroughs. But Maze of Caves. So there's some duplicate ones in here too. Agents of Evil. So there's different tests you got to pass. So we'll just do this one, for example. For this one, I can get it to focus. Just kind of hard, sorry. But anyway, this one you have to roll, you either have to do a cunning or agility test, so depending upon which you have a better stat at, you might want to roll one over the other. So this one says a cunning 5+ test and you need 2 successes. So say your cunning is 3, that means you get to roll 3 die, and you have to get at least 1 5+ if it's just a regular danger in your first roll, and then in your next roll you would have to get at least, so if you get the 2 successes in your first roll, like say you get a 5 and a 6, then you've passed it. But if you only get, say, like a 5 in the first test, you can keep going, and then in the second test you do another, say you do a 6, you pass that test, the cunning 5+ of 2, so that would pass that danger. Now this one's a little harder, but say your agility was 4 and you're a 6+, you only have to get 1 success, but it has to be a 6. So this one's a little harder to do, but if you have really, really good agility, you might want to chance it there. So, you know, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of luck, but it's a lot of fun in this game. But if you don't pass this, then your next turn, you have to go into the cliffhanger. If you do pass it, you get the glory here, and you can move on. And certain artifacts are going to, which we'll show you when you get to the artifacts, are going to require a certain amount of dangers to pass and to collect all the fortune from those artifacts. And the villains are going to be going after these same things too, and there's different rules with them when they're involved too. So but definitely lots of good fun. So this one right here is the cliffhanger in the back of this one. Just show you this one. So this one right here, a lot of times there are tests on the back of the cliffhanger. This one doesn't. This one you just automatically take D6 hits, so you have to roll a D6 and see how many hits you take, and you could be killed. So we'll just show you another one here. Let's get another test. Let's get a test on it. Let's see. Some of them allow you have to fight an enemy on the cliffhanger. This one, yeah. See this one right here? You have to roll an agility of 5+ on the cliffhanger. Now, if you end up failing the cliffhanger, then you're KO'd, and you have to go back to your hometown, and you lose D6 combination of glory and or allies or gear or anything like that. So it's not good to get KO'd, obviously. And then you get sent back to your hometown, and then you have to go back to try to recover that rest of that artifact, past more dangers, and meanwhile the enemy may succeed in getting that. So, but anyway, definitely a lot of cool stuff in this. Yeah, so these are just some of the cards for the dangers, and again, there's a lot more added in the expansions, and I think there's probably a few more in one of the other packs here too of cards. Let's see what's in this half area. So this right here is basically how a cooperative, these are player aid here, so how a cooperative game round goes. Kind of hard to focus in on here. But it says initiative phase, move phase, adventure phase, villain phase, and end phase. Basically what I went over in the rule book. And then here's the competitive game. So it's competitive game, same phases and everything, just a little differently laid out. But these are player aids for that. And there's, I think this should be like 8 of them. I think 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, because you can play up to 8 players. There's 8 heroes. And then these are some common items like you can get. So this is an adventure plane. They all have different costs in here. So a lot of times you can look through these when you go into certain areas, or if you don't want the, if you want to make it a little more challenging, you can say pick 3 of them every time you go, different 3 of them every time you go into a city to say that's what's available today in these cities or whatever. But common items, like you can get maps, you can get supplies, and they all have a cost. Revolvers, which add combat. So you can add to your, kind of like, just like in A Touch of Evil and Last Night on Earth, you can add certain things. This adds like a fire. Sometimes you need fire to, a torch adds fire, so in case you need to light dynamite or other things. Explosives, rope. So different things that can help you. Rifle, Book of Lore adds lore. So these are just some common items here. And then here are the event cards, kind of like Darkness cards and Shadows of Brimstone, or Growing Dread, that kind of stuff. And these are also like mystery cards in Touch of Evil. So Vile Tactics, and none of this stuff is good. Vile Tactics. It's like you have to roll on the Vile Tactics chart, which I showed you before, which is nothing but bad stuff. There's a bunch of these. And then you're going to have some Surge of Darkness. So again, nothing good. This adds more search dice. Villains use search to get. So they don't do dangers, they do searches. And they find the artifacts before you do, then they get them. Combat. This adds more combat to the villains, which they don't need. This adds more wounds. Makes them tougher to kill. But you can kill the villains. I mean, you can knock out the villains, and then they have to go back to their hideout, and it takes them a while to get back on the hunt for artifacts. So that's gonna be a good thing if you can take out a villain, of course. But they always come back. Yeah, so these are just different bad events that can happen. But I like the artwork and everything. I mean, I like the photography and everything. And then Dark Rituals, so all bad things. So this one right here, any hero that's in an ice space takes D6 hits. So there's environmental stuff that can happen, sandstorms. Yeah, so bad stuff. Volcanic eruptions, malaria. So definitely Indiana Jones type stuff. Attacked at sea. Yeah, so bad stuff. Nothing good there. And if you have one more deck here, which probably would be the most interesting deck. This is going to be where you can form your your artifacts and everything, and some of the gear cards in here too. So this will be the last time we can do this in this video anyway. But here we go. Oh yeah, crunchiness. All right, so we'll show the gear stuff first. We'll save the artifacts for the last thing, I guess. All right, so. Alright, so here's some of the artifacts, some of the gear. So another deck cunning. This will add cunning to the hero. This is dynamite, so you're going to need the flame thing to light it. And lore. This adds lore to the hero. Adds agility. And they have little quotes on the bottom of these too, which is kind of fun to read. Revolver. And this one will add +1 wounds. And here's a lighter. Rifle. Adds 2+2 combat. Tommy gun. +4 combat. That's huge. So these you buy, I think, for like 5 a piece. And these you don't look through. These you just pretty much shuffle them up and you get what you get. But they can be some kind of cool stuff. So these are gear cards. Alright, and then you have your allies. Which can help you, but they don't always stay loyal. Sometimes you have to roll for loyalty, and if they have a low loyalty, then they'll leave you. Especially if they can get kidnapped by the mob or by the Nazis too. So this is the college professor. Adds lore. When you have to activate them, but you have to roll when they're activated. You have to roll against their loyalty when they're activated. So this gives any hero +3 lore for 1 test. Maybe agility, damsel adds +1 agility, and then when you activate, so they give you like a special. This you got always the agility +1, but when you have to activate them, there's a chance of losing them when that happens. But this one gives +3 adventure dice for any femme fatale test. So that's where your keywords come in. And then you have your cargo ship captain, which he stays in a certain city and he can help you out with traveling, I think, and moving. Probably a lot with your waters, of course. And this one, driver, adds +2 adventure dice during any driving test, and again, so this one doesn't have to be activated. You just always get this. But again, they have loyalty tests too, so you could lose them at times, or they could be kidnapped. So this one's a combat, so it's a mechanic, so you don't have to activate him, but he adds +1 combat, and that's 2 adventure dice during any tech test, so that's another keyword there. And the pilots, the president, friend of the family, Reggie. So he's really good. So he adds +2 wounds, +1 combat, and +1 agility. So he's a sidekick. So you can only, I think, 1 sidekick. Normally you can only have 1, unless you're certain. Like I think that reporter or whatever can have more than 1, or the actress or somebody can have more than 1. But there's certain heroes they can have more than 1 sidekick. But I think the rule is you can normally only have 1, because they can be pretty powerful. Here's the dog, Baxter. He adds +3 wounds and +1 combat. And then the personal butler. So he's not a sidekick, he's just an ally. But again, he has loyalty. See the butler is really loyal, which makes sense. So he's going to have a higher loyalty. This guy, college professor, isn't going to have much, and we went through these already. So those are your allies. And let's see here. Now here's a fun thing. So when you're creating your artifacts at the beginning of the game, you have your artifact and you have your adventure. So the first part of it is going to be the artifact part of it. So, and again, they're going to have special. This one's a temple. So there's a bunch of temple ones, and then there's some that add different. And these are going to have meaning to different villains and stuff. They can help increase if the villains get a hold of them. It can help make the villains tougher to kill. So you have. So basically, this is how many a fortune they give you out of them. So temples work a little differently. Temples, whenever you pass a danger, they give you you pull a fortune out of it. And then the artifacts you only get when you return them to cities. So these ones right here, you would put 10 fortune in the city, the temple. And these will make more sense when I show you the artifact part of it. These are the adventure part of it. So it's the tomb. So anyway, so you get a whole bunch of these. And again, like I said, the armor. And then the other one's going to be of something. So it's going to be of the ancients, and there's a little flavor text in here of the ancients. And so this tells you the amount of danger. So if you were to take one of these right here, so the mine of the ancients, you put them together right here. And then, so you get 8 fortune for passing the 3 dangers. The dangers are the amount of danger, those cards you have to pass. So 3 successes in that, and you can get to take this with you. And then you can turn it into a city. If you turn it in like a regular city, it's 8. You get the 8 fortune. But if you turn it into a major city, you get a +1 to that fortune there. So this is the mine of the ancients. So it could be the mine of the ancients, the mine of lost souls. So good fun on combining these, and some funny names that they come out of these. But see, some of them are just regular. But then there's some of them, as you'll see a little further down. So maybe not, maybe it wasn't in the base game, but I know, yeah, I guess there are. Just can't, they're hard to read, but down here, if you're in possession of these, they give you special abilities. So this one's the monkey, Curse of the Monkey God, is a curse in there. So if you're going after that, during this adventure, your defense is reduced to 0. So they can affect your stats there. The Poseidon one, so while you're in possession of this artifact, you may always move through sea spaces for 1 movement each. Normally it costs 2 or 3 movement to move through sea spaces, but this can help you to move through stuff. So sometimes they give you special little bonuses when you're doing that. But again, the text is really small. Even my reading glasses, they're hard to read. But anyway, some cool things up. But then you're always going to be putting these together with this right here. So you're always going to get, and these are always going to have different amounts of dangers on them. 3, 4, 2. That's an easy one. Usually it's between 2 and like 5 or 6. I think, yeah, these are 5. I think 5 may be the highest, maybe 6. But 5, I think, is the highest in these. But all kinds of cool things in here, which are really fun putting them together. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Just to show you what the base box looks like here inside. Lots of nice little storage in here. So these were made to fit the expansions in here. Although I think it's pretty tight with all the expansions. We'll see. But again, there's an advertisement for A Touch of Evil, which we have. And then Invasion from Outer Space, which we're getting that one too, I think. Yeah, that one didn't get as much love and is thus on the short side of the box, literally. Last Night on Earth, we ordered that one. We're getting the 10th anniversary of that one with the expansions. And then this one is Conquest of Planet Earth, which is one of their first games, and not really one that I'm interested in, a little too simplified for me, but I mean, there are some cool things about it, but definitely not that much into the space theme, so didn't get that. But anyway, yeah, so that's basically the insert, which you put everything back into, which we'll see if it fits all the expansions. So that's pretty much it. That's been a long unboxing video, almost an hour here. So I think we're going to end it here, but this is Fortune and Glory, the cliffhanger game by Flying Frog Productions. 1-8 players, ages 12 and up. And hopefully we'll get some videos on this in the future when we start doing these. I know we've been saying that for a while, but we got a new computer and everything, and I think we're going to work on getting a little setup in here to start recording some videos. So this has been Eric from Higher Ground Gaming with another board game unboxing of Fortune and Glory, the cliffhanger game. So take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye now.